Welcome everybody, welcome. Just getting set up here. Should be set up in a few minutes. Unique New York. Hey, appreciate it. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving too. Mine was great. Got to see my nieces, so it's always a good time. Okay, and my aunt and friend and my sister, but those nieces are something else. I don't know what just happened. I can still see my screen, like through you guys, but I can't see my screen anymore. Bear with me real quick. I just lost my screen. It works on that computer. Ah, okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. Good there. Everything's open. How does that screen keep going? Okay. I hope that stays going for now. I don't know what's going on, but my one monitor keeps going black on me. I know I can see it through your windows. Like the OBS, I can still see it on here. It keeps disappearing though. All right. Let's get into it. How you doing, kings and queens? Welcome to the Market Open. This is Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving. Today market closes at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in case y'all are wondering. First, I'd like to ask if you have any questions about crypto or stocks right now, leave them in the chat. That way I can answer them as soon as I possibly can. If you're watching this not live, put them in the comments and I'll get to them when I see them as soon as I possibly can. And the market will be opening in just shy of 15 minutes. I'm going to have to learn how to mute myself and everything too, because I have to cough really bad right now, but I don't want it to be very loud. so I can see. Nice. That is a great way to wake up. Yeah, I was looking earlier today. 9% is really good, especially overnight. Yeah, I looked when I woke up. It was at like 54,000, or not when I woke up, just a few minutes ago. Yeah. Starting to make me wonder. There was a point I was looking at it and I was like, it was like 60 or 62. I'm like, should I take out a little bit more? That way I could catch it lower. I realized something. Yesterday I watched The Big Short for the first time, and I realized why I don't like shorting, because it means that if you're right, then something bad is going to happen. And I don't necessarily care about shorting smaller companies, but the things that I like shorting tend to be the bigger things. You know, it's a very cryptic way to live. Cryptic? Cynical. There we go. Any speculation on what the market will do today? That's a good question. So, as far as the stock market's concerned, I'm not going to say I won't speculate day to day. I think it's going to. Let me see. That's a good question. Do I even want to speculate that? Let me pull that up over here so you can see what I'm seeing, kind of. Basically, just looking at a couple of things right now to see kind of little baby indications, I guess you could say. Couple of checks that you could do, go to Yahoo Finance, things like that. When it comes to the market as a whole, to be honest with you, day to day, I don't usually pay attention, because in the micro, things don't really matter. Or I should say in the macro, when it comes to the stock market, to me, just because I do more of the day trading or swing trading. So if it's up or down a little bit day to day, it doesn't bother me too much. We're down 2% already. I mean, it's Black Friday, so if anything, let me give you the two ways that I think it could play out. If it goes up, I think it's because the sale that we're having right now in the beginning of the day. But I'm kind of wondering, is that going to overtake the people who are taking their quick withdrawals from their apps where they can do instant withdrawals too? So I don't know. It's Black Friday. If you ask me any other day, I'd probably have a little bit better of an answer. But being that it's a holiday, really anything can happen, obviously. But as far as crypto is concerned, that's one thing I've been thinking about today since I've been waking up, because that is a 24-hour thing. So it's not affected as much by, I won't say the holidays and all, but market opens and close specifically. So being at 54,000, the prediction is that we're going to hit 98,000 before the end of November from Plan B, who's this guy who uses a stock-to-flow ratio to check where Bitcoin should be. And he's saying that it's going to be 98,000 by the end of November. So to get there, we do have quite a bit to go. I mean, that's almost 100%. Almost 100% ROI or in, what I'm saying, return from here. Yeah, 98,000. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens. But I do know a lot of people like taking what's the word I'm looking for? Not taking profit. Seizing opportunity is basically what I'm looking to say on sales days. And we got Bitcoin at 54,000 right now. We got Ethereum at 4,000. Binance Coin at 59,000 or 59,000. Ooh, that'd be crazy. $590. Solana's under $200. Anytime Solana's under $200, I say that's a good buy. That's a deep sale. ADA 150. Ooh, XRP's under $1. DOT. That's another. When the market's like this, then I do know, as you can see in the hour, it's a lot of people picking up the sales. The thing is it going to be enough to make it positive for the day? And then will it be enough to make it positive for the rest of the week? We got, 5 more days until the end of the month. So we'll see if that 98,000 isn't accurate or not. Yeah, hasn't been wrong yet. So I've seen Bitcoin do some crazy things. So it wouldn't surprise me if it went to 98,000 by the end of November. I was watching it as I was traveling last year go from like 5 or 7 grand, whatever it was, up to 20 grand over the course of like 3 months. I should say I was traveling in the beginning of that, watched it pop from like 7 to 13, and it like blew my mind. So I've seen Bitcoin do crazy things. So it wouldn't be the most outlandish thing in the world if that did happen. So, but yeah, it hasn't been wrong yet. It hasn't been wrong yet. Okay, a couple of topics that I do want to hit today is going over a little bit about Bitcoin, how to buy it, where to buy it, can you fractionalize it, things like that. If we can get into different kinds of wallets and different kinds of cryptocurrencies as far as proof of work versus proof of stake, I'd love to go over that too. But again, primarily this is for your questions or just going over anything that you may want to talk about. So leave that in the chat if you want to drop a comment. You can do that as well. It is crazy how I just go right to saying I don't say as well in normal life. Very rarely, I should say. Usually say also. It's like I go on camera and I just want to say as well. Anyway, you got 7 minutes until market open. All right, I'm not going to read through this, but just wanted to show this to you. When I was going over yesterday about the ways I look at coins to pick to see which one I want, one thing that I like to do is check out the white paper. I don't fully read all of them. Sometimes I'll just skim them. But the Bitcoin white paper, I think, is a good one to read. It's the first one. It's kind of like, reading what started everything. So you can, I've had this link saved so long. All right, I'll drop it in the chat. This is a Bitcoin white paper. I highly suggest reading it. Satoshi Nakamoto is a person that, or a group that we don't know, who actually created it. We just know that they call, or he or she called themselves Satoshi Nakamoto. But this, anytime you're reading a white paper, it's basically giving the description of what the purpose of the coin is for, how the transactions work, how they'll look. It's basically the same thing. Basically saying it, this is how it's going to look on the blockchain. It's proof of work. That's my puppy. It's a proof of work, which means it's going to use real life electricity to mine or to get more crypto, get more Bitcoin. It talks about the network, so everyone who's on it are in control of it. Again, I'm not going to go through everything, but this is basically it, how the miners will get paid. And I highly recommend giving it a read. It's, you could say it's like the holy grail of white papers for cryptocurrency right now. So I would check that out. If you're looking into any other coin, that's where I go as far as step one to get my information, and then I start going through everything else, charts, tokenomics, and stuff like that. Again, the way it's released, circulating supply, you can see 18 million right now. Total or max supply is going to be 21 million. Total supply is basically saying how much. Total and max are sort of similar. So total and then max, you can see the biggest difference is the burn. One includes, one doesn't. And then the volume, fully diluted value, so how much is basically like liquid, and then market cap, or realized. Pretend I didn't say that. I think I got that backwards. All right, four more minutes until market open. So if you guys could give me a little bit of feedback, how's everything looking? How's everything sounding? I have a light turned on over here, so in the background, maybe it's a little bit more lit up. If I look too dark on either side, let me know, or too light on either side, let me know. If I need more light coming in, I can open the blinds a little bit more. And then hopefully next week I won't be asking questions as I'm going through these lives. We'll be flowing. All right, so I think that's I keep wondering why I'm not just going straight through it. It's because I kind of am waiting for the market to open, because that'll kind of interrupt us. But I just keep flowing with it anyway, as far as going over what Bitcoin is. But Bitcoin, you can think of it as it's the new money, effectively. It's not a currency, in my opinion. It's a money, because this actually is finite. There's a limited supply. And it does, to me, have inherent value. the biggest differences between money and currency, and this is a thing, this is a concept that a lot of people get wrong, is money is something that has a intrinsic value, more or less. There's a finite supply of it. You know it's worth. You can't print more of it. So what we use every day isn't money. It's actually currency. Oh, darn. Okay. Well, that might be a little too bright. Okay, let me know if that's better. So money is basically the base of everything. How you get paid, or I shouldn't say how you get paid, but how you trade, how you come to a agreement on what things are worth. It's basically something that goes back thousands and thousands of years. When we stumbled upon gold, we basically found this thing. It's like, oh, there's not that much there that we can get easily. We have to mine it, so there's a finite supply. So they say. I'm on the edge of, yes, there is a finite supply. I know some people are like, well, there's a meteor out there, or what if the core of the earth is pure gold? I'm like, all right, you have fun with that. Go take the core of our earth. But anyway, that's a whole other tangent. But effectively, when we're using our dollars right now, we're using currency, which is basically saying, hey, there is a money behind it, and then it's being used to simulate the money that we just don't want to move around. It's almost like if you have, let's just say you were to go and buy one Bitcoin, and you were like, I want some money now, but I don't want to sell my Bitcoin. You could go up to some of these platforms and be like, hey, I'll trade you, or I'll give you my Bitcoin as collateral if you give me $50,000 or $54,000. Be like, all right, cool. It's basically the same thing that happens with currency and money. And when you start getting into derivatives and you start getting into splitting it up even more, that's what the banks do. It's basically saying, okay, here, bank, I'll give you $10. Anytime that someone comes in with $10, you can give them, $0.0001, but then you can give out $100 from that. So you can turn 10 into 100 just from pushing a few buttons on the computer. Banks have the power to do that. So that's why when people are talking about how money's coming out of thin air, it's because when we give our money to banks, they're loaning it out plus more, getting interest on that, and giving us almost nothing in return. So while there's a little bit growing that is real, there's a lot in the background that, I did that backwards, a little bit that's growing that's real, there's a lot in the background that's happening that just, it's very interesting. But there's enough of us here that believe the system, and by that I mean almost 7 billion people that believe the dollar. So that's why it hasn't fallen apart yet, regardless of how much money they print. So Bitcoin, being that it's a finite supply, after I think it's 2139 or something is when the math says that Bitcoin should be done being mined. Well, there will be 21 million Bitcoin. There's assumed that there's like 4 million Bitcoin or something like that lost because of people who had wallets back in like 2009 to 2012, 2013, and they can't get back into them. This is back when Bitcoin was like a couple of cents, maybe a few dollars. A lot of people bought Bitcoin and they were like, it might be going up, but they didn't really keep track of it because it to them at that point was worthless. But once it's all done, there will be 21 million. So obviously that's a finite supply. Because of the white paper and the algorithm, the program that this is written on, you can't just create more out of nowhere. You have to, you have to actually, go through an algorithm to get this stuff to become real using real life electricity. And the more and more people that are getting into Bitcoin, the more and more people that are mining Bitcoin, the more secure it gets. So basically what that means is when this was first started, the keys were given to, I think it was a handful of people or a couple of different addresses. Effectively, those few, let's just say it was just 2 miners. Those 2 miners start mining, and then next Bitcoin starts coming into existence. But if one miner goes down, half of Bitcoin effectively goes away, slows down, everything becomes more, easier at that point. But it's very centralized. There's only one person working on it. So what happens when you get a lot more miners, when you see people talking about their mining farms, or they have a miner in their basement or their garage or even in their room on their desk, effectively what they're saying is they're adding another mine. You can think of it like a coal mine. They're adding another mine into this ecosystem. The more miners that come onto the network and the more that people are buying Bitcoin, the more the network grows, the more secure it gets. It's easy to shut down one computer. It's hard to shut down millions. So right now there are a whole lot of people that are mining Bitcoin, and when the people are saying when Chicken Littles are saying that the government's going to shut it down, you got to think how. The biggest thing that they can do is ban or not allow mining to happen, which is like what they were doing in China, and then you either have to go somewhere else or you get caught and you get fined or put in jail or whatever. But you can't stop Bitcoin itself. It will continue, just with less miners, if that were to be the case at some point. So the reason that a lot of people are gaining confidence in Bitcoin is because of this right here, the 21 million. It's finite, especially with what just happened after COVID. And that's the thing that a lot of people aren't seeing when it comes to those who think that crypto is just fraud, is our system is based off of people saying yes or no to can we put more money into the system. Our money's not backed by gold anymore. I can't remember the exact year. Correct me if I'm wrong. If one of you guys knows it, it was either 34, 36, or it was 71 or 72. Reason I always get those dates mixed up is because there was going from the gold standard there were two different ways of the gold standard. There was like a 1-to-1 back, then it was starting to go into derivatives where it was just like, this means if you have this bill, it means that you have a little bit of gold, but we didn't actually have all of it to back it. So it became a little bit less trusted, and then next thing you know, they just took it off the gold standard altogether. I think that was in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken, which means that the dollar, as far as like this stuff right here, had no meaning when it comes to trying to trade it for, I shouldn't say it has no meaning. You couldn't go and you couldn't go and exchange your bills for gold or silver anymore. And then that was when they were allowed to basically just print and print and print, because now there's nothing backing it. There's no finite source that is saying we can only use this much because that's all that we have. So if you guys know, the silver market is the same thing with the silver and gold market nowadays. It's like, it was like that with money, it's like that with gold. Effectively, we have this much gold that's real, that's being stored around the world, or that we know that can be mined. And then from that, they're making ETFs and other types of securities that are based off of it, pulling it away, and then selling thousands of more. So they're like saying, oh, you know what? Let's take this one gold bar. I forget the ratio, so don't quote me on this. And let's sell 100 contracts on it saying that we have 100 gold bars, but they only have this one. It's effectively what's happening. So I was watching The Big Short yesterday. I don't think that things are going to be as crazy as that when things do go down. Or I should say the dramatization version that they had when things happen again, as far as some sort of a crash, some sort of a implosion. But there are a lot of things tied up into it, from housing to precious metals to rare earth metals to cryptocurrencies now, because cryptocurrency is effectively creating money out of nowhere. Because it's taking electricity, it's taking people just locking up some money for X period of time. And they're gaining interest on it. And if you turn that into real life cash, you are effectively creating new currency. I know I just said creating money out of nowhere. I should have said currency. Oh, I missed market open. See, that's one thing I do have to make sure I watch. I'm going to get myself some clocks. I have like 6 clocks up on my wall so I don't miss that. All right, let's see what's going on. Oh, that's Ada. Ooh, excuse me. All right, so within the first 5 minutes, it looks like a couple of things are red. I'm gonna have to get used to how slowly this thing loads. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it looks like crypto market's pretty red right now. This is what's on normal exchanges. So I wouldn't always trust when you look at crypto stuff on like a Yahoo and all that, but something quick to look at. All gotta get used to using other platforms. I'm so used to using TD now. All right, let's see where Tesla is. Do you guys have any stocks that you want to look at? Any cryptos in particular? Oh yeah, happy Thanksgiving. How are y'all's Thanksgiving? In case I didn't ask that already. All right. Yeah, so you can see Tesla gap down just a little bit, so it's back in the low grands. UEC is another one I like. It's a uranium play. I'm in it for a long term. I think I bought it like, where did I buy it? Bought it like right here. Right here. I don't remember. Bought it as it was going down. Bad timing, but I made money on this before, so I don't really care, and I think it's going somewhere longer term. All right, cool. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to go over was how to buy Bitcoin. I know these are very basic questions. If you have answers that are more in depth, let me know. You can leave them in the chat. I'm kind of just gaining the foundation of it, or I shouldn't say gaining. I want to let out the foundation of everything that I know of crypto first. That way we can kind of catch people up, and then we can get more into the lower level stuff. But effectively, or when it comes to buying Bitcoin, there are a few different ways to do it. You could do it on something like, no, let me start that over. When it comes to getting ROI on Bitcoin, there are a few different ways to do it. You can track the asset, or you can actually own the asset. I think that's the best way to explain it. So on Webull, you can track the asset. So if you wanted to get a Webull account, if you didn't want to worry about getting into crypto 100%, or if you had a Webull account already and you just wanted to get some skin in the game, you can buy things on Webull. I have a link down in the description. It does have a really nice desktop interface. It's kind of like Thinkorswim as far as it has a lot of indicators, a lot of charts. You don't have to go onto the website. You can get an app for it on your computer or on your phone also. But this, when you're buying like if I were to go in here and buy some ADA right here, I can't transfer it into a crypto wallet. I don't necessarily own it, but I can track the asset. So if I got in down here and I wanted to like hold it for years and years, I have to hold it on this platform and hope that the platform doesn't go away, basically. If I wanted to transfer it out, I would have to sell it here, buy it somewhere else, and then hold it in that, wallet exchange, whatever it was. So that's the difference between tracking an asset and actually owning the asset. When it comes to owning the asset, that's when platforms like these come into play. And now, obviously, I'm not sponsored by any of these because I am a tiny account, but Crypto.com is one of the bigger ones it's been around for a few years now, but they're gaining momentum. I started using Crypto.com in 2019, I believe it was, or beginning, actually it was summer of 2019, and they definitely weren't this big before. But it's really neat to see them grow. They did just buy the Staples Center, so now it's called Crypto.com Center. But this is an awesome one. It's a mobile app, so when you're using it, you're going to be using the mobile app. They'll probably have you download it as you're going through the website. At least that's what they had me do before. And their native token is CRO. So if let me finish going through this first. So once you set up an account on here, they have different products that you can buy. They're getting into NFTs, which I briefly mentioned yesterday. But effectively, not only can you buy crypto on here now, but you're going to be able to buy non-fungible tokens soon too. They do have a DeFi wallet as well. See, there we go, with the as well again. I haven't used it yet, but I do have it downloaded. I have another DeFi wallet, so I just wanted to stop getting things too spread out like I was before. But this is where I'm holding things like my Sand, my VeChain, some Cardano, and it's a really easy to use app. I'm a big fan of it. They have Visa cards with it as well. So if you want to gain crypto back, you could get the entry level Visa card. They don't require you to put any money into it, and you can get 1% back in CRO. Again, that's their native token. So if I use my card and I go and buy some lunch, then I'll get 1% back in CRO. If you got the next level card, I think it's 2%. The level after that, I think is 3 or 4%. The level after that, I think is 6 or 8%. But it keeps going up and up, and you can lock up anywhere from, I think it's 1,000 CRO up to, I believe it's 10,000 or 4,000 if I'm not mistaken. The more you have, the more you gain. But that's effectively what staking is, or that is what staking is. So like I mentioned before, proof of work versus proof of stake. Won't go into too much detail yet, but if you're staking their coin, you're effectively helping the ecosystem continue to run. Okay, so as I mentioned before, CRO, it's a crypto that's being exchanged right now. It's right here. It's at 71 cents, and it's, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinion too, it's comparable to Binance Chain. Binance Chain I was looking at in 2019, 2020, something like that. I didn't buy it. I didn't know too much about it. I didn't understand exchanges and all that stuff. I didn't understand VPNs and everything and how to use it in regards to crypto. So I didn't touch it, but I remember when it was at like $5, and it's at 500 now. I remember when it was at 17. I remember when it was at 25. I remember when it was in the 70s. I remember when it was in the hundreds. I bought it in the 300s, sold it in the 200s, bought it again in the 200s, sold it in the 400s. But it's a platform. It's an exchange that is more popular overseas. It's hard to use here because, well, some states don't even let you use it, let alone exchange on it. So Crypto.com is something that we can use here in the States for the most part, and you can get Crow in return if you use their Visa card. I do have a description. I have a link down in the description if you do want to open one of those up, but that's one way that you can buy Bitcoin or cryptocurrency as a whole. Once you get on there, you can link up your bank, or you can do wire transfers if you like to. If you have any questions, ask. Oh, I forgot to put the link for the Discord in here. Not going to worry about that. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, or if you're in the Discord, ask me, and I'll help you out however much I can. BlockFi is another way to do it. This is more for long-term staking, and you can get interest on your tokens in here. So anywhere from, I think it's 1% to 9 or 8.6%, I think it is. You can get interest on your tokens. So I have a link in the description for this too. You would just sign up for an account. And this one is even easier to connect to your bank and to use. It's a more centralized. By the way, the three that I'm mentioning right now are more centralized. Decentralized exchanges don't have referral codes. If someone's giving you a referral code for a decentralized exchange, well, let me not lie, some of them do. Anyway, this one right here is more for long term, though. If you're buying crypto on here, the fees are a little high, and the spread is bigger than if you were using something like FTX. So this is for the longer term holds or big swing trades if you're expecting big moves. But wouldn't really recommend it for that. And then, of course, you got Coinbase. The reason I said it last is because it's the one I use the least, but it's another one where you can get a lot of access to cryptos. Wouldn't say early on, but you can get a lot of access to cryptos. You can do routine buys. All of these accounts you can do routine buys on, so weekly, monthly, anything like that. And crypto Coinbase is one of the most common ones. So when it comes to talking to people or exchanging, you're usually going to hear Coinbase come up. I think Crypto.com is going to take that seat in the next couple of years. Well, it's crypto, so it might be the next 6 months. But these are some ways that you can buy cryptocurrency, some ways you can buy Bitcoin. And I just want to be very sure to state that you can buy fractions. So don't be afraid to buy anything outside of a coin that's like $1, $10, $100 if that's what you can afford, because you can buy $1, $10, or $100 of Bitcoin, Ethereum, or any of these other coins. It's all about getting skin in the game, and all these platforms will allow you to do that. You don't have to wait for a specific guideline that says, oh yeah, you're allowed to trade in fractions now. It's crypto. Everything is a fraction anyway. it's a breakdown. That's one thing I didn't mention before. Bitcoin, if you see it's a capital B, that's talking about the network. If you see lowercase b, that's talking about the actual currency itself, or the actual Bitcoin, the breakdowns, the fungibility of it. And then the breakdowns are called Satoshis. We looked it up yesterday. I think it was like 100 million Satoshis in one Bitcoin. And this is why when people say that things are going to be measured against Bitcoin, they're not saying 100 million Satoshis to one Bitcoin. They're not saying that, when you go to buy your car, they're going to come up to you and be like, oh, give me a tenth of a Bitcoin, and then that's what you can have the car for at this, used car sales lot. They're going to say, all right, give me 1 million Satoshis. That's what it's going to be. Just like how we're doing cents and pennies and dollars right now, breaking it down from, 1,000 or $1 million. It's the same thing. But yeah, so anyway, that's how you're buying a breakdown of Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency. They all have their own little names. Tezos is Tezos, Ethereum is Ether, all those different types of breakdowns. And fractions. Oh, I'm getting through this a lot quicker than I thought. I'm going to have to figure out how to get this to be an hour. I need to make this more quick and concise. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, Mr. Groves. I'll talk to you soon, brother. All right. So, we'll exit out these. Now, the other couple of things I wanted to talk about were wallets and proof of stake and proof of work. So I can get into those also. Let me know if you are still here and who is still here if you do want to reveal yourself. What I might do is just go over a couple of cryptos that I'm interested in, mostly because that is also some basic stuff. And if you want to hear anything more interesting, just let me know, drop it in the chat. Hit that like button if you haven't already, and yeah, we'll get into some more of this. Let's see what the market's doing. Let's see what my market's doing too. Yeah, market's going down today, it looks like right now. Everything's looking kind of red. UEC is down. Let's get a little bit closed in. Let's go as if we're day trading. There's some big candles though. So big candles does mean that there is, I won't say more action, but it does mean that the bulls and the bears are fighting a little bit more loosely. There's not, I don't want to say much structure, but when you see it's a really tight or really small candle like up here, that means that the bulls and bears are kind of agreeing, but at the same time they want to push away quickly, especially when you see these wicks getting longer and longer, like this right here. That's the bulls trying to really pull it down, but the bears are like, did I say that backwards? It's the bears trying to pull it down, but the bulls saying, no, we're just going to stay right here and hold tight. Let's see, ADA's down 157. I don't know how I feel about ADA anymore, or I should say for a swing trade or day trade. I'm a little conflicted with this because I want to let some of it go. I would like to take a little bit of profit, but at the same time, it's going down, so I'm not. All right, cool. I appreciate it, Chad. Is there anything specific that you wanted to talk about? Anything you wanted to go over? But yeah, so like ADA, I think long term that it is going to do well, but there's just a little too much blurriness. There's just recently came out that they were delisted from eToro, along with it was another coin as well. But there's some news, or that with that news, they're trying to call it a security, not just a token. So Cryptos Are Us is a website that George runs. He's one of the talking heads here on YouTube. He's a very good guy, in my opinion. I've never met him before, but just saying from what I've seen him and how he talks and everything. But it goes over a lot on this website. It has a lot of news and everything too. Just trying to see if I can pull any up real quick. Now, this stuff is kind of crazy. Now, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, they were not a fan of crypto at all last year. They're poo-pooing it big time, and now they're getting themselves in depth in the metaverse and everything like that. These are big, to me, bullish signs that big banks are starting to look at metaverse tokens, and all that stuff might be getting more valued, I guess you could say. But at the same time, this means that more eyes from the government are going to be on them too, because they're going to be talking about regulating, since this is a bank. And if they do centralized metaverses, then it also means that it's not really, in my opinion, the purpose of crypto, which means putting things in the power of the people. They're doing centralized. It's the same as them just controlling things again. Can't read this. I wonder what this says. Website's loading so slow. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. If there is 1% of CRU staff, that everyone should be great. Two problems on the session. Okay. Alright. I'll read more of that later. That's one thing that I do want to go over. I want to go over more news on here, too. That way I can provide as much value as possible rather than just explanations on what crypto is. I want to be more in the weeds with you guys. So as we're trading things, we can get more real-time information going on. And that's what the Discord is for also. So the Discord, the biggest reason I made it is because we can read this news all we want, but there's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of stuff going on in other groups, other chats, other friend conversations that could be very helpful to us growing. It's one thing that I noticed. I'm a part of a couple of different crypto conversations, and sometimes they're just a little bit off or a little bit different from each other as far as what they're talking about, that if they got together, they'd be seeing a bigger picture. And I'm not necessarily saying that they're wrong or in any way, shape, or form, but sometimes the different opinions or different points of views can just lead you to, in this case, making more money, making more development in a space. So that's my thoughts there. LC's building. Whew. All right, we're good. No sneeze. But right now, it's the gaming space that's really, really big in crypto. So that's not a good segue. The other thing I wanted, or other couple of things that I wanted to mention, were the different kinds of wallets in crypto. You have cold wallets, hard wallets, hot wallets, and basically they're different levels of security, you could call it. Okay, so yeah, software wallet and a hardware wallet. Those are the two basic ways of looking at storage. If you hear people say hot wallet, then they're usually talking about a software wallet. If you hear people say cold wallet, then they're usually talking about a hardware wallet. So effectively, when we're talking about wallets, then it's something that's just looking at the blockchain and seeing what is there. It's not saying that you're storing it in this device specifically. It's just saying that this device has the information and the passwords that allow you to see it. Let me rephrase that. This device sees the information, stores the passwords that allow you to see it, so your private keys. So the differences here, the different specifics that you could get into here, is Coinbase would be something like a hardware wallet if you use Coinbase's wallet. If you're using regular Coinbase, like the exchange, then it's an exchange. It's hot all the time. It's exposed to everything. If there's a hack, you're hacked too. If the company goes down, you go down too. It's connected to them. So that's what it means by software, when it's all integrated. So Coinbase wallet too. If anything happens to the Coinbase wallet, if they hack your wallet in Coinbase, in the Coinbase wallet, again, two different apps. Coinbase itself is a little C. Coinbase wallet is a closed circle. So that's how you can tell the difference between the two apps. But the wallet itself is on your phone, and if anything happens to it, as far as if a hacker gets into it, if like the system goes down, if anything happens to your phone, effectively, mean, that's kind of a bad example, but it's at risk. It's exposed to a whole lot, and it is on the network as far as the World Wide Web. So it can somehow be interfered or hijacked. If you're talking about a hardware wallet, you're talking about a physical device. Oh, I can actually pull one of those up. So I don't have a promo code for this. I know if you go on a couple of other YouTubers, you might be able to find a promo code from theirs. I think you have to actually be sponsored by these guys to get a code. But this is a hardware wallet, and I think if you do find one of those codes, it's like bundles usually. But this is a hardware wallet, so it's a little USB drive looking thing. It hooks with a micro USB, if I'm not mistaken, to USB-C. And what this does is you effectively put a password in. You can download apps, like you can see right here, these little apps. You can download the wallets to store your cryptos in. So if anything happens to the actual device itself, the keys and the password that you created for it can be restored onto another one. So let me say that in a different way. If I buy this hardware ledger, or if I buy this ledger, so if I buy this Ledger Nano X right here and something happens to it, I'm driving down the road, it slides off of my dashboard, which I don't know why it would be on my dashboard, and a truck runs over it. I go get it, but now it's completely dead. Then what I can do is I can go and I can buy another one. It is $120, but you're storing your crypto. It's like having a bank almost. I can go and buy another one. The password and private keys that were on my broken one, I can upload or restore onto the new one, and everything is still there. Apps and everything are still the same. I have an app that I use. I think you can do it on your PC. Yeah, I know you can do it on your PC. I believe it works with Mac as well. I know it works with Mac. And then you can do it on iPad and I think certain Android tablets. I can't remember that part though, but I know you can use it on Mac tablets for sure. Some of them. The new MacBook Pros, it'll work on a new MacBook Pro. But effectively, you'll be downloading an app onto the PC, onto your Mac, onto the iPad, whatever it is. And in that app, the ledger itself and the app that you downloaded will communicate together. It's basically, effectively, the app that you're going to be using is the screen for the device for you to actually be able to do things more than just click these two little buttons. So that'll be how you verify, how you confirm. Because if someone just got your ledger and you didn't have to confirm through an app or anything like that, anyone could do whatever they wanted with it as soon as they got into it. But because of the app and all that stuff, it's a little bit more in depth. But that is a hardware wallet. You'll also hear it referred to as cold storage. Cold meaning that it's like it's in a freezer, it can't be touched, no one's going to get to it, it's locked away, I guess. But the Ledger Nano X is a good one. I know there's another one, I think it's called the Trezor, if I'm not mistaken. I looked this one up before, I haven't looked it up in a while. I probably shouldn't have put it in .com. Yeah, that's not it. I looked it up a while ago, I can't remember exactly why I didn't go with this one, but the user, that's another thing. Make sure when you're buying these, you're getting it from the website itself. Don't buy it from Amazon. Don't buy it from a third party. There are people who've gotten compromised wallets because of that. You can redo heat sealed and shrink wrap and tamper-proof wrapping. You can redo those things. So don't buy it unless you're buying it from the website like I just showed you, the Ledger website or this Trezor website. I forgot to say this in the beginning, nothing in this video is financial advice, it's just for entertainment and education purposes. But anyway, this is the Trezor. Do your own research before you buy these. I can't remember exactly why I didn't get the Trezor or why I went with or wanted to go with the Ledger instead. I think it had to do with something about being in the United States, but I don't remember. Maybe it was Texas specifically. But these are what the hard wallets are. So if you have, and the general rule of thumb, if you talk to any crypto guy, is if you have over $1,000 worth of crypto, you should be storing it into some kind of wallet, especially some kind of hardware wallet. When you get into tens of thousands, you should definitely be having a hardware wallet. If you're doing a lot of exchanging and trading, then you want to have diversified portfolios or diversified exchanges and brokerages. That way, if one gets wiped out or if anything happens to one as far as government comes cracking down, you have backups also. So those are the links that I was mentioning before in the description as far as Coinbase, Crypto.com, things like that. You can use Uniswap and a couple of others. I have some other ones in the Discord too. But you want to make sure that you're getting yourself as protected as possible so no one can steal your stuff and so it doesn't just get lost. So make sure when you do have your brokerages, your wallets, and everything set up, you are saving your private keys written down. Some people say memorize them. If your memory is that great, sure. Sometimes it's 12 to 24 numbers or words, full words that don't make a complete accurate sentence. So if you can remember that, have fun. But write it down, store it somewhere. Do your best to keep it in a place where it's not going to get found, stolen, lost, hacked, things like that. But those are the different kinds of wallets. I am running to the last 10 minutes of the show now, so we're going to start tying it up a little bit. Maybe the last 5 minutes or so, because my voice is getting very, very hoarse now from all the playing with my nieces and family talking with family yesterday. But those are the different kinds of wallets. Coinbase has a wallet, and so does Crypto.com. You can type them into the App Store, Crypto.com wallet. For that one, it would be DeFi wallet. And then for Coinbase, you'll be typing Coinbase wallet. Make sure it says wallet afterwards. If it doesn't say wallet afterwards, it's probably the exchange itself. Okay. It's still going down. How's Tesla doing? Picking up just a little bit. Not really though. It's only up $50. Yeah. So this one, it looks like a downward wedge almost. I think this one, next week I expect things to really go up. So that's why that was a hard question today, Stephen. I know you're not here anymore, but I know it's hard for me to say exactly how the market was going to do today until it opens because it's a holiday. Thanksgiving was yesterday, and we're in a world's weird state of the world. But seeing it now, I do think it looks like it's going, at least, judging from what I look at. I have my other screen opened up too. So sorry I don't share that until I can find out how to make things private easier. I'm going to keep that off screen. But yeah, it looks like things are going down today, but they're slowly having a little bit of a curve on them, or they're looking like downward wedges or flags. Some of them are looking like positive or bear or bull flags. So I do think next week we are going to have a little bit of a run up. And then, holiday season, it is a little bit more of a lull time because people are spending their money a bit more. But we'll keep an eye on it, see how everything is going. And yeah, good luck to everyone who's in the markets right now. As far as the crypto markets, those are kind of looking like they're picking up a bit. Overall, it kind of looks like they're going sideways. You got some that are down, some that are up. The gaming, I'm sure, is going to be up if I were to look at gaming. Let's see. This is my portfolio for the different prospects that I'm looking at to buy if I'm not already invested into it. But I do have one for gaming. Oh wow, it's more red than I thought. But you can see that overall, as far as the 7 days concerned, they're mostly green, which isn't surprising me. So is this by market cap already? No. Okay. Man, some of these ran up like crazy. Why won't you work? Okay, now we're in order by market cap, so. Why are you jumping around? There we go. Okay. So yeah, Sandbox is down to 24 hours. This one got in at about $1. It's at 7 now. This one got in at about $1. It's at 4 now. Decentraland is trying to be pretty much a whole metaverse. It's going to have a bunch of, you could say, projects within it. Engine's sort of the same. They're going to do gaming, projects within, non-fungible tokens, pretty much everything. Sandbox is a game itself. They're saying they're going to expand and have more games come out. But Decentraland and Engine, I would say, are more of the bigger plays here. They're like kind of the higher market cap, if you will. I know that their market caps are pretty much the same, but I think you get what I'm saying. So Gala's been on the run up lately. I believe that this is the game itself. Wax is Wax is an interesting one. It's not a game, but it's where you can get rewarded in games. But they do have games also if you go onto their site. I can't remember how closely tied they are to the projects or the developers themselves who make Wax. But gaming is a section that I'm very excited about when it comes to crypto right now. I think that's going to be the big play now, and I think decentralized social media is going to be the big one when it comes to probably in the next like 3 to 6 months. So BitClout is my favorite one for decentralized social media right now. If you don't have one, you can open one up. I don't think you need an invite, but I do have it in my Discord channel, and I believe it's in my About page, or my About on the YouTube channel as well. But this is decentralized social media, so you can see over here, if anyone is on the platform right now, the all-time top creators, you can see what their coin is worth. You can see the same on mine too. It's basically the more that the community sees your value, the more your coin is going to be worth, because people are literally buying your coin or buying you, investing in you to say things that help them throughout the day or make them feel good, or are positive, or they're just contributing value. So you can see that my coin is worth $8.85 right now. I think I own most of it. Yeah, I own the most out of all of them, but you can see a couple of people bought bits here and there. Just kind of means that people are like, let me throw a couple of pennies this way, because if this guy goes up to a few $1,000s, I could really make out on it. Kind of like that. But it's really neat. It's like a Facebook. You can do your posts and everything. You can likes. You can give diamonds, which means you're giving people little fractions of the coin itself, and then you can invest into other people's coins. So decentralized social media, I think, is going to be the next play. That's something that I'll be getting into a little bit more coming soon. But for now, yeah, exactly. That's what I was just about to say. It's funny you bring that up. Yes. So gaming and metaverse is. I'm going to do a stream on that. It'll be either next week or the week after. I hope I'm not too late by then, because it is crypto, so I could be late if I'm doing it 30 minutes late. So it'll probably be next week. But I want to, the coins. So I will go over the metaverses, but the coins focus as far as the ROI that we could potentially get from it. That is going to be the focus of the talk, not the games themselves. I'll do that in a separate one. Because I am interested in playing the games, because I think that there is value there. But I will be talking about the coins and the tokens behind them, because I think that those are going to be the big ones. I will say right now, if you have a Twitter and you're not following ZSS Becker, follow him, Alex Becker. He's on YouTube too, but he tweets more than he YouTubes. He's the biggest one right now that I know in gaming analysis who's getting things right and early. There's a lot of talking heads talking about metaverse, but when I say he's been talking about them already, I'm talking months early. Like when I'm saying I'm going to make a video next week about gaming, like it might look like a repeat of 100 other people who already made videos, because it's late. Like I should have been talking about gaming if I wanted to make a YouTube. I should have been talking about gaming like 2 or 3 months ago. Anyway, going on a tangent here. I think gaming and metaverse is going to be huge, especially with Facebook changing their name to Meta, as far as how their umbrella is going to be housed now. But BitClout is going to be a big one, and there's a few others out there too. I'll drop some in the Discord, and we'll continue the conversation there. So if let me see, do I have any way to tie this up? I don't think I have an outro yet. Yeah, I don't have an outro yet. But if you have any other questions, any further questions, if you made it this long, I appreciate it big time. If you have any other questions, drop them into the comments. If you want to join the Discord, the Discord link is in my About page on the YouTube. And I'm going to be doing these YouTube lives every Monday and Friday at market open and close. Today, maybe a little bit iffy. Market is closed 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for anyone who is trading, so just be aware of that. If you wanted to open up a new brokerage or an entry brokerage, there are a couple down in the description below, mostly for crypto, because that is what I like more. But that's gonna wrap it up for today. Appreciate y'all for joining me today, and yeah, good luck in the world. Have a good one.